Folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for Peel and Durham for week ending April 27, 2022. Let me tell you what we're experiencing in the field working with buyers and sellers. There's this buyer we're working with right now. We've been working with them for a little while. They're looking to buy their dream home in the Peel region. There's a few spots that we're looking at, but there's this one home in particular that they'd really love to buy. And we've been monitoring and watching this just because it seems the seller's not really ready to sell. Don't get me wrong, the seller is on the market for sale, and they had a list price and they had an offer date. And through speaking with the agent, I know that they're kind of looking for a price up here. So list price with an offer date, they want to be about $300,000 higher than list price. Offer date came and went. No sales. We're watching this just because my clients were nowhere near prepared to pay what the sellers' expectations were, but also the list price kind of seemed like market price. It kind of seemed that's what properties were selling for in their area, so my clients were not prepared to go higher than really what they were listed at. Well, offer date came and went, no sale, and like we see happening often, they relist now the property at a more traditional price, meaning here's a price and you could negotiate down. Well, that's when they came back out with the high price, about $300,000 higher than the market price. And it's sat and it's sat. Well, since then the market has moved down a little bit, and I'm not talking just generally, because it has moved down generally across the board, but in that neighborhood, there's been some other more recent sales that kind of showed that prices have come down a little bit, maybe by about $50,000 over the last several weeks. Well, these people did a price reduction of about $50,000. And I'm speaking with the agent, and they're wondering why they're not selling. Well, if the market came down $50,000 and you reduce your price by $50,000, that's already probably $300,000 too high. You're still $300,000 too high, even though the price is reduced by $50,000. So another couple of weeks went by, they did another price reduction of $50,000. Well, the market's come down further since then. So even though the sale price, they keep reducing their price, the market gets reduced. They're always about $300,000 over market value. And the seller's got to be getting very frustrated in the whole situation. The agent doesn't understand, well, we've reduced it now like overall about $150,000 and we're still not getting any kind of action on this listing. Well, look, if the market is here and your reference point is just wrong to begin with and you think the value of your home is here, reducing it a little bit is not going to move the needle. It's just not going to get your home sold. Somebody needs to tell you the market is here. We got to bring your price in line with the market. And if the market's coming down, we need to bring your price here if we really want a lot of action, a lot of showings, a lot of offers. And if no one's telling you that, look, with the real numbers, it's up to you if selling even makes sense or not. But the reality is, not knowing the real numbers will hurt you way more. And you really should be working with somebody who's going to give you the facts. The real numbers is what's happening in your market, in your neighborhood, and this way you can make decisions based on facts. So these sellers, I know, are frustrated. I know that the agent is frustrated that's listed the property. They're not understanding what's going on, but their whole reference is wrong. They got the wrong price to begin with. And we are watching and waiting because my buyer really wants to buy the house but is not prepared to spend $300,000 over what similar properties like that are selling for. Who you hire matters. It'll make the whole process of selling and buying way smoother, and you'll make decisions as a seller and buyer with more confidence if you know the real numbers. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, buying, selling, it's really simple. Below this video in the description is a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way I'll know ahead of time and I'll organize my schedule so we can talk about whatever's on your mind. Go Leafs, go! Whether you know it or not, my son and I are big Leafs fan. We finally have a winning team. It's game 2 tonight. We're so excited. I just want to spread the good vibes. Go Leafs, go across the nation. Let's get into the report because that's why you're here. I just want to have a little fun with the Toronto Maple Leafs here. Okay, so prices are down. 200 to 300,000. Now, it's important to know the reference point. Since last year, we're way up. But if we compare to the peak where we were in February this year, prices are down. Both average sold price and median price. They're down 200 to 300,000. I'll show you that right now. Here's a quick summary. Overall, we've got, well, the blue is Mississauga. The yellow here is Brampton and Durham region, which is Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby. In the burgundy down here, 1 week to the next, prices are actually up in all 3 regions. Let's look a little bit closer. I've got Mississauga here, broken down by week for a whole year for detached properties. Sales, we sold 53 detached properties in Mississauga. It's up by 2 from the previous week. Sales overall are low. I mean, 53 is not a lot to sell when we were doing more than double that a year ago at this time. But we sold 53. 13 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price up just a few bucks from the previous week. Average sold price is now $1,784,000 in Mississauga for detached properties. So we peaked up here over $2,165,000 middle of January. February around high 1,819. Now we're high 1.7, just around 1.8. Prices are down 200,000 or so since then. When we look at prices compared to last year, we're up 15%. It's not like, you know, wow, everything is terrible. We're still up 15% from last year's record prices. Looking at the median price is up 17% in Mississauga. And when we come and look at the peak of 1.8, 1.7, we're now around high 1.5, 1.6. We're down about 200,000 bucks there for median price. So prices are trending downwards in Mississauga for detached. Of the 53 that sold, 59% sold at list price or more. It's not as competitive as it was when we were in the high 80s and 95% selling at list price or more. Sales year to date, way down. From January 1st to April 27, sales are down 35%. So more than a third. That's a lot. It's a big difference from 1 year to the next as far as sales go. Listings are down 21%. We listed 120 detached properties last week in Mississauga. And months of inventory stayed the same at 1.3. Average days on market stayed the same from 1 week to the next at 10 days on market. Let's look at Brampton. We sold 88 detached properties in Brampton. 8 of those were at $2 million or more. Now, 88 detached properties, it's up from where it's been over the last couple of weeks, but still lower than where we've been for January, well, from February and March. It's still lower. So sales are not that high, but, you know, we sold 88 detached properties. Average sold price is $1,435,000, which is a little bit higher than what it was the previous peak. But our peak here at high or mid 1.6, and now we're at, you know, just kind of the low 1.4. We're off by about 200,000 there. Compared to last year, however, $1,435,000 is 25% higher than last year's average sold price. So you're not hurting if you've owned your house for a little while. You're doing pretty good there as far as value 1 year over the next. Median price is also 25% higher than what it was a year ago. However, median price has also been declining from the high 1.6, 1.5. Now we're at 1,360. Median price in Brampton has come down about 300,000 since our peak in January, February. Sales of the 88 that sold, 57% sold at list price or more. Now last year we were selling 75% at list price or more. This year 57%, a little bit more than half are selling at list price or more. So it's not as competitive as it used to be. And we were consistently at the beginning of the year 96, 97. We were just in the 90s, 90%. That's like all of them selling at list price or more. Now we're down to 57. And year-to-date sales from January 1st to April 27, we're 38% less sales this year than what we were selling last year at this time. So big shift in the market as far as activity and volume goes. Looking at listings, well, we listed a lot more this week than we listed last week. We listed 273, but year-to-date listings are down 17% from what we were listing a year ago. Months of inventory did come down slightly, so market got a little bit tighter. We went from 1.5 to 1.2 months of inventory. Average days on market came down a little bit from the previous week. It's now sitting at 10. That's Brampton. So the market got a little bit tighter, but it's not as competitive as it was before. Sales are way lower this year than what they were last year. Let's look at what I'm using as my sampling for the Durham region. I'm looking at Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby. We sold 80 detached properties. It's higher than what it's been over the last few weeks, but still, 80 is not a ton of sales for that region. So we sold 80 detached properties. 3 of them were at $2 million or more. Average sold price came up also a little bit from the previous week. It's now $1,290,000. We used to be at 1.6 as far as the high goes, but that's just 1 week really high. So a little over 1,500,000. We're now just under 1.3. So we're down about 200,000 from where we were at our peak time in February this year. So average sold price down since it was during the peak, but sitting at 16% higher than what it was a year ago. We used to be 30 and 40% higher than where we were a year ago. We're now 18, 16, and I kind of looks like this is where maybe it's going to kind of level off. 18, 16, 15% higher than a year ago. Median price is 15% higher than what it was a year ago. And as far as median price goes, at our peak at about 1.5, high 1.4, we're now at 1.2. We're 200 to 300,000 lower. Our median price from where it was January, February to where it is now, week ending April 27th. So it depends which reference point you're using, but we're 200 to 300,000 lower in median price. So prices are shifting. There's no denying it. Know the numbers. Know what's happening in your neighborhood if you're looking to make plans to sell or to buy. It's very important. Of the 80 that did sell, 83% sold at list price or more. So still very competitive. It's not like prices are coming down and you have all this time to negotiate. It's still fairly competitive. But we're 31% less sales this year than what we were selling last year, year to date at this time. Listings jumped way up though from the previous week. We listed 193. Year to date listings are 12% lower this year than what we were doing last year at this time. And months of inventory is now 0.7, a little bit less, and 0.7 is kind of in line from where we were at the end of March, beginning of April. Days on market though, it's like the Excel spreadsheet I used to calculate all these numbers is kind of stuck and sitting at 7 days on market, week in and week out now for the Durham region. And again, average sold price is $1,290,000. Let's look at condos. This is across Peel region. The majority of these condos are being bought and sold in Mississauga, but I've got it for all Peel region. Sales are down. We sold 47 condos in the area there. 2 of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price jumped up a little bit from the previous week. It's now at $711,000. And condos, just, you know, you've heard this story before. Prices shot way up over the last quarter of last year, and now they're coming down. But that's, you know, we were 740, 750. We're now at 700. The previous week, 780. So they're down 50, 60, 70,000 from the peak. It's not that much of a difference, but they're way up from where we were here, the high 500s to 7, and for them to come down 50,000 or so is really not a train smash or anything. 29%, that's how much higher we are over last year's average sold price. So condos are really, really performing well as far as year-over-year increases. The median price for condos in Peel region is 25% higher than what it was a year ago. Of the 47 that sold, 72% sold at list price or more. So it's less competitive than where we were just a couple months ago when we were 90, 95, 97% selling at list price or more. And you'll feel it out there, 72%. I mean, there's a 20, 25% decline in properties or condos selling at list price or more. But it's still fairly competitive. Don't make that mistake that you could just take your time. And if it's a good condo for you, it's probably a good condo for a lot of people. So you're going to be competing. Sales are 16% lower year to date this year versus last year. Listings are 5% higher this year than they were last year, year to date. And months of inventory, because listings have gone up and sales really have not moved up that much. Months of inventory is a little bit higher, sitting at 1.6 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary of all the months of inventory. Mississauga stayed the same. Brampton is down. Durham region is down. Condos is up. But, you know, you're still looking at very much a seller's market. Prices are still very strong compared to last year. They are much lower than what they were January, February this year. Thanks for watching. I hope you get the information you need. If I can help, please, below this video there's a calendar, and go Leafs go. Have an awesome day.